Alright, hey everyone. So as you can see, it's almost 2 in the morning, my time when I make this video. So I'm actually just fairly bored, couldn't sleep, and decided to try out a new mod. Just to, get a little bit more immersion and try out something cool. The name of this mod is called Scenic Carrages. And as the name implies, basically it allows you to be a passenger in a carriage, similar to the opening credits of Skyrim when you first start a fresh game where you're riding in the prison cart. Essentially, this is the same thing. Um, so the mod's made by Sollar, as you can see here, and I got it off the Skyrim Nexus as per usual. Or not the Nexus, I should say, the Steam Workshop, excuse me. So the way that this mod works is you have to talk to any carriage coach guy, and there'll be a dialogue option that says, hey, can I get a guide? And the guide looks like... where is it? So many books, oh my god. Yeah, I'm not too sure where I put that book. Oh, there we go. Guide to Scenic Carrages. And this is the book and also the configuration sort of settings, as you can see here. So it gives a pretty detailed description on what all of them are. So you can force first-person view, you can turn on and off the mod from in-game as well as through the data files when you load up Skyrim. So if you want to turn it off, you just come here, enable Skyrim default travel, which just means it basically disables this mod, and when you pick a carriage, it just, screen goes black and poof, you're where you need to go. So you can toggle that on and off. Force first-person view. What this does is essentially, like the description says, it stops the game from going into that screensaver or vanity mode, if you will, where the camera spins around your character slowly. Set the horse speed. The fastest you can make the carriage go is the same as when you're on a horse and you're making it run, basically when you're holding down Alt to gallop. So that's the fastest speed. I just tried it before making this video on run, and the carriage almost flipped over several times. So I'm going to set it back to default speed, which is essentially just when you're on a horse normally and you're just traveling normally. If you have followers, you can toggle that enable on, so that way when you get into the carriage, your followers get in with you. So it's pretty cool. The traveling works a little bit differently than a normal carriage does. There are specific routes for each carriage, and he's included a nifty little sort of map here and a description that shows you where each of the carriages in each of the cities will take you. Now, I'm guessing that in the way he's set up the world, that when you hop on a carriage in, let's say, Winterhold, and I want to go to Dawnstar, at some point you transfer, you stop off at Whiterun and you get on a new carriage and you go. At least that's how he's envisioned the pathing. So he's sticking to that with this, as you can see here. For example, I have a quest in Dawnstar. I'm supposed to go talk to a captain right now. I left from Windhelm. But as you can see on the top right, Windhelm destinations only goes to Riften, Whiterun, and Winterhold. So I had no choice. I had to take the carriage to Whiterun, and then from Whiterun, I'm going to get a connecting sort of carriage, or connecting flight, to Dawnstar. Alright, a couple other things to know with this mod is that it does change scripts, obviously. So if you install the mod and you have a save game where you're outside or you're by a carriage already, it'll give you this very helpful warning that'll pop up on the screen, this dialog box. In game it'll pop up and it'll tell you that basically, because this alters the scripts and the way that Skyrim functions, that if the object is already loaded, you can't use this script. So he says, go save inside an interior location, or load a save where you're already inside, something, something, something. You get the general idea, right? So what I did is I just had to sort of go inside to Breeze Home here in Whiterun and load a save from there. So just to save yourself that extra step, I would say before you install this mod, Make sure you have a save that's in an interior location, either a player house or inside a shop or something. That way you'll install it and you won't have that little warning that'll pop up, and you can just get right to it. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to show you what it looks like. I'm going to take the cart to Dawnstar from Whiterun. Now, again, as I mentioned earlier, it does take a while. It travels at the speed of whatever you set it as. So another thing to notice here, wow, that cart's flipping out over there. Another thing to take note of, I do have a few other mods active right now. One is called Skyrim Live, and another one is called Adventures and Travelers. So what this does is this populates Skyrim with more NPCs. Wow, I'd hate to be in that carriage. Populates Skyrim with more NPCs. So there are people on the roads, there are... wow, that's just funny. There are people on the roads, there are mercenaries walking around, there are bandits, and so on and so on. So if you have any mods similar to that active when you install this one, the carriage doesn't care that these people are in the road. It will run them over. It's actually quite hilarious. It will run them over and then sometimes just kill them outright. Not to worry though, you don't get a bounty when you do it. They just magically get run over and all's good in the world. So I don't know, you might want to disable any of those mods if you have them on, or perhaps leave them on just because they're absolutely hilarious. Alright, so enough blabbing, let's go. So once you see here, if you enable the mod, it puts in brackets Scenic.
Where do you want to go? Sit back and enjoy the ride.
Also, a lot of the prices have increased due to the Scenic thing. So as you can see, similar to the opening credits here, you can swivel our head around all the way. Take a look at what's going on. And if you just leave it for a few seconds, well, a few minutes, it'll enable the third-person view where the camera spins around. Now, it looks like we're going to have a collision with the other carriage in front of us here, so this will actually be a good way to test how this mod handles that. I don't know if we're just going to pass right through it, or if we're going to get jammed and going to flip over and get bum-rammed here, or just get stuck, it looks like.
I hear there's whole countries full of them down south.
Alright, so apparently we can't destroy other carriages, but everything else is completely fine. You run over everything else. Nothing stops these carriages. They're like tanks. If you get tired of the scenic trip, you can just talk to the caravan guy again and tell him, oh, you know, wake me up when we get there. Oh, it looks like we're going to flip over and die horribly. No? No?
Get up there.
Okay, I have no idea what's going on right now. Somehow we're okay. You know what?
Did you need something?
Yeah, wake me up when we arrive. And this just foregoes the scenic trip, and bam, we're now here. So this is more of like the default travel method. Anyway, as you can see, the Skyrim Live and the Adventures and Travelers is somewhat of a double-edged mod to have on when you're using the Scenic Carrages. But anyways, when horses and other carriages don't get in your way, it's actually quite cool. I'll see if I can do another run somewhere. That won't screw everything up.
Tools, wares, and weapons, all for sale at fair prices.
I don't know why people are crying for help, but whatever. Alright, let's see if we can't get this going again. I have to deal with a dragon. let me kill this dragon and then we'll try this again. Okay, dragon's done, quest is dealt with. Let's try this
Where do you
again.
want to go?
Guess we'll go to Whiterun.
Sit back and enjoy the ride.
That's another cool thing with this mod, is it actually puts carriages in areas where there wasn't before. For example, in base vanilla, or the base Skyrim game I should say, when you go to Dawnstar, there's no carriage. You just take a carriage there and then poof, you're on your own and there's nothing to bring you back. So if you don't have a horse, it sucks. So this is cool that it puts carriages in various towns for you. Now you're going to see here what I'm talking about, where the carriages just indiscriminately kill anyone that gets in their path.
Tidings.
Oh, looks like he escaped by the skin of his scales. Scales, because he's Argonian. Get it? See what I did there? Another interesting thing to note is that while you're in the carriage, you're essentially, I guess, not targeted by the regular critters and animals that would attack you, so wolves and bears and bandits and whatnot just ignore you when you drive by in a carriage, so you don't have to worry about being attacked, versus riding your horse or walking the road yourself. You know, when you're on your horse, wolf attacks you and you have to get off your horse all the time to attack everybody and defend yourself and whatnot.
Old dragon skull hanging on the wall.
I think we just ran over that guy's horse. And we might run her over too, looks like. Let's hope the carriage doesn't flip over. No. Alright, good stuff. Alright, so yeah, as you can see here, it'll just take us all the way there about as fast as you normally can on a horse. You can speed that up at any time. I would probably recommend getting off the carriage first. Again, if you just want to dismount the carriage, all you have to do is... where the hell is the horse going? Weird. Alright, so there we go. This is what I was waiting for it to enable the third-person cam. Anyways, as I was saying, at any point, you can just talk to the carriage driver and ask to get off the carriage right where you are, or just to wake me up when we get there, as you saw me do earlier, at which point it'll just basically go back to the default Skyrim travel versus carriages. That was pretty cool. The carriage was drifting there for a while. So as you saw, the carriage just took out that poor orc walking on the road, and looks like we're going to run over everyone here. So this is where what I was saying comes into play. Eat it! And you don't get a bounty on you if you kill them. They just sort of yell at you, and that's about it. So they get upset, but nothing else. And you can run them over and kill people. I think we've ran over goats and killed them earlier when I was testing this out before I made the video. Anyways, so that's pretty much what I wanted to show you with this mod. Check it out. It's pretty cool. Adds a new layer of immersion. Yeah. Scenic Carrages. I believe it's also available on the Skyrim Nexus if you prefer the Skyrim Nexus as opposed to Steam Workshop. Give it a try, you might like it. Later.